Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's time for another driver interview. You guys have been waiting for this, I am sure. So let's get right to it. Hello, Krister. How are you?
Good. How are you? I need to show that I have the eSeniors
There
t-shirt.
you go. Oh, I'm so bad. I haven't bought one yet. We need to get some money into the kitty probably to do that. Hey, we should tell everybody. Yeah, it's time to fork out some cash and get a hat and a shirt, huh? You got
Yeah, exit through the gift shop.
Yeah, is that a t-shirt? That one?
Yeah,
Yeah, good quality.
very nice.
Yeah.
I had it for quite a while, and it's been lasting. And then I have the hat as well. So
There you go. Just looking for my. There we go. So, Krister, you pronounce your name for me because you know all these.
yeah, the best way to explain it is Hiort, like New York, but with a T.
There you go.
Hiort.
Oh, there you go. Okay. I always say Hiort. I'm like a francophone. I put sounds where there's nothing. The francophones usually put an H where there is no H, and they silent H kind of thing. So, New York.
Yeah, I
Okay.
listen. I listen to anything, whatever comes out when I'm on, waiting for an upgrade or standby at the airport. You can't imagine the different ways that name comes out. So yeah, as soon as they breathe like an H, I go up to the counter.
So, as everybody knows, of course, Krister is one of the administrators of eSenior. So, I'm probably going to do over the summer all the administrators. But Krister is famous for doing the a broadcast like I do. He's the senior broadcaster, so he gets the fun races like the big long one. Eh?
Yeah, I enjoy doing that, especially now when I'm not driving. So because all my stuff is packed up. So
Yeah. So, we're going to get right to something that we always do, and that is talk about where you are from. Let me get rid of your name for a second here. Hold on. There we go. So Krister is from Sweden, as we probably all know, and the little town is called. You pronounce it for me.
Lidingö.
Whoa, whoa,
It's an
whoa!
island just east of Stockholm, and it's connected with a bridge. You see a bridge there on the image
So
to
that,
the left. So that's a little bridge. You go over there and you take the subway into Stockholm. So
yeah, that scale
and
of
that's
that.
just 10,
that
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
oh yeah, so that scale is probably it's about 5 kilometers the island from one end to the other.
Uh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's 35,000 people there.
So very, very close to the town of Stockholm, isn't it? Just of course.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's and it's beautiful. It's very it's close to the city, and it's very beautiful. Famous for all the ABBA people were living there at some point. So
Oh, and I have been to Stockholm on a cruise once, and I guess we crossed over there to go to the little ABBA museum. I didn't go to the museum, my wife did, but
yeah, it's not on that
oh,
island.
it's not on
It's
that
it's
island.
actually in Stockholm. But yeah,
Okay.
one of the ABBA guys kids went to our school.
In Stockholm, if you've never been, it's like being in an archipelago of islands in terms of the water surrounding it, huh?
Yeah, if you go to the east, there are thousands of islands in the archipelago there.
And it takes a cruise ship forever to get in there too, because
Yeah,
you're going through
yeah,
a long, long, long. That's beautiful, beautiful city. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. But currently,
that's very
you
nice.
are in Frisco. I'll do it again. So that's the European guys know where Stockholm is, but not all the North American guys, I'm sure. But now the European guys may not know where Frisco is. Let's just take a peek. That is Frisco in Texas.
Yeah,
So you are a little north of Dallas and Fort Worth. There you go. Is it a suburb? Is it kind of a suburb of
it's a
Dallas?
suburb.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When we moved up there, 96, I think it was, we came to the US 1990 for work, and at 96, when I decided to stay, get the green card and be a citizen and all that, we moved up there to Frisco, and it was hardly nothing there. And then it's been one of the fastest growing communities in the whole United States. So now it's over 200,000 people.
Cool.
And we have a mall, and we have the Dallas Cowboys world headquarters. We have the Dallas Stars training arena is there. We have a Major League Soccer stadium. So
I'm more
Been
sophisticated.
growing a lot.
I'm more sophisticated than those guys over in Europe. I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking Pinot Noir this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm drinking my favorite, Topo Chico.
Ah,
This
it's
is the lime version, so it's like yeah, it's sparkling water.
okay. No booze in it. No, okay.
No, can't have any booze.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in a bit. In a minute. So, how long have you been in Texas or in the U.S.? I'm
Yeah,
talking about that U.S. Yeah.
yeah, 1990. That's when we arrived in Texas. We lived in another town a little bit closer to Dallas for a couple of years, and I was there on contract. I came for a 2-year contract with Ericsson,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and after 7 years, they were like, "You're still on contract here. You have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to stay or do you want to go home and work for Ericsson in Sweden?" And I said, "Well, we'll stay." By then, we had a couple of kids and stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, we stayed on, and now all of a sudden we've been here for 35 years, and I'm retired since November, and we now decided to move back to Sweden.
And what did you do at Ericsson? What kind of stuff?
I was a program director for so we Ericsson. People know Ericsson with like the cell phone, like Sony Ericsson, but we haven't done that in quite a while. That was never really a good deal. So we do all the infrastructure. That's what Ericsson started with.
Cell phone infrastructure.
Yes, for the actual, so connect everything in the network, right?
Okay.
So if you make a phone call, it goes through our antennas and the infrastructure, all the computer to do all the routing and all that.
So.
So I was working with projects because in the US there are like 600 to 800 different small wireless operators. So when you travel out in the boonies, there are small companies there that have very small networks, and they have agreements with AT&T and Verizon and the big guys to just carry the traffic because it's cheaper for them, AT&T, to use these guys than to build their own out in the boonies.
Yeah.
So I worked with that customer segment. Really, really cool. I got to see a lot of little towns and places around the US.
Oh, cool.
That way. So,
And you guys must have got a boost when the U.S. and a few other countries stopped buying Huawei equipment. You guys got the boost. I remember reading about you. So
absolutely.
Who's the other competitor? Ericsson, Nokia.
Nokia to some extent, and Samsung.
So infrastructure wise, those guys all do it. Everybody does it, eh? Okay. So the
Yeah.
cell phone is just the tip of the iceberg for all that the big number,
Yeah.
the big money
And
in
the
the
only ones
infrastructure.
that make the only ones that make money on the cell phone is Apple.
Oh yeah, on the actual device. Yeah, yeah.
No one else makes money.
Is Ericsson still building cell phones though? I thought there was a bit of a resurgence. No, not anymore, eh? Okay. Okay.
So Ericsson started to actually have my original cell phone from 1994, like a big black brick.
Yeah, yeah.
That was when Ericsson did cell phones, and it was engineers that were doing the design. And then as it became more and more used, women started to buy cell phones, and Nokia understood that. So they started to create these, sexy colors, and Ericsson, we just wanted to have black phones. We thought that's what people wanted. But Nokia started with the sexy phones, and they just took off with that. And then Ericsson started this joint venture with Sony, and because Sony had cameras, and that was coming the big thing with the cell phones at the time. And they had really good music players and things. So that's when Ericsson and basically put in the phone into the music player and the camera. So that's how that started.
But Ericsson invented a significant a significant amount of the technology, though, didn't they? No, was it not Ericsson?
Yeah. So Bluetooth, for example,
That's what I remember.
One technology that Ericsson is was spearheading. Is in a kind of a technical forum.
Oh, your microphone's going a little wonky there, but
Yeah, I hear you a little bit weird. It's like bubbling.
yeah, me too. I can hear you that way. Oh well, we'll just continue on. It was an anniversary or something of the Bluetooth, and I remember hearing about the engineer who kind of invented it and why they picked Bluetooth as a name. It's always good. It's always good to hear the history behind some of these things. There's real people.
Harald Bluetooth was kind of a Viking figure.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah. The Bluetooth symbol's a Viking figure.
Yeah, so the Bluetooth thing is a rune, like a bee.
Yeah. All right.
Your
So
your your audio is coming through really weird.
yeah, so is yours. I'm not sure what the story is there. If it's the technology or we'll just
Yeah,
continue on. It's not bad. We can still understand each other. That's good enough, I guess, for now.
yeah,
Um,
I can hear you
yeah,
really well.
yeah. So then, what do we do? Kids? You have a couple of kids? I've been seeing pictures on
Yeah,
Facebook. Yeah.
four kids. So one is born in Sweden, one is born in Holland. We lived 2 years in Holland before we came here, and then two are born here in the US. So three girls, and the youngest is a boy.
And grandchildren I see too from Facebook.
Yeah, so we have four grandkids, two in California, and one in Ohio, and one here locally.
And you're enjoying retirement way too much, I noticed from Facebook.
Yeah, I love it. I haven't looked back one single minute.
You never do. You never do. You know, people say they agonize over the decision, some people, to retire, and then, oh, what did I do before? Oh my goodness, this is how did I get all this stuff done when I was working? Well, the answer is you didn't enjoy yourself so much, right?
I know, and that's the important part. When you retire, you have to build up. Before you retire, you have to build up a solid, interest or hobby, that you can go into. Because otherwise, I think it's going to be hard. I mean, I was tired of working. I mean, for the last 2 years, I'd say, and you know, racing and sim flying has been my hobbies.
Yes. Yeah. Before we get into racing, let's talk about the flight simulator. You spend some great amount of time in that, Nell. That's almost as big a passion as racing, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And now, what I did here, because we were preparing to sell the house, and we thought it could go really fast, it didn't. So we had everything packed up. So I sold my racing rig that I had, and because I wanted a new one anyway, and I didn't want to ship that over to Sweden, so I'll buy it when I get to Sweden. So that stuff has been in. I haven't had any racing stuff since March. So then I started to focus on my sim flying and really getting into that and enjoying it.
Our audio is getting bad. I'm wondering if we should just cancel the Discord, restart the call, and then maybe it'll be okay. And I'll stay on the stream.
Let's keep on, and we restart the call.
Yeah, Discord. We'll restart Discord. Okay, I'll hang up.
So you call me up.
Yeah, I'll call you back. Okay, so guys, a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we can start it up again and see what happens. You guys can see it. If you've never used Discord calling in camera, it's pretty neat. He's going to answer in a second. Yeah, it's about the same, huh? I wonder what it is. Wonder if you should try, you're not in your rig. You have to use your phone. You're using an iPhone?
Yeah, let's...
oh, it's a bit better.
I used the iPhone for the camera, but that shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Let me do it like this. Let me just change the camera. Use my yes.
Pull out that old Ericsson phone. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see.
I don't know if it's on my side.
Okay,
how's that? Let's see. Say something. Let me hear you. How's my voice?
Yeah, it's the same. Can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, I can see you though. Yeah, it's funny.
Maybe the audio is a little bit better.
Okay, let's just continue. We can hear it. We can understand each other. We'll just do it. We'll just do that. So, how did you get into flight sim?
Yeah, I don't remember actually. Actually, I don't change the camera. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't remember, to be honest. I looked back a little bit on my notes. I think I started just maybe 2 years ago. I don't actually remember why.
What got you going? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember why, but I mean my whole gaming started 2015.
Is that right? Only that? Okay. Eric, it's kind of the same time as me.
With PlayStations. I had a PlayStation, and that's when I had my transplant in January 2015, and I had 3 months off, so I needed to do something during that time.
Yeah, talk about your transplant a little bit. Not everybody knows that.
Yeah, so I had a liver transplant, and I I had a disease called PSC, which is primary sclerosing cholangitis, which is a autoimmune disorder that closes down your bile duct. And when your bile duct is closing up, the bile backs up into the liver, and the liver gets sick.
Okay.
And you get cirrhosis and all that bad stuff that happens with all liver diseases, because the liver tries to cure itself, and instead it gets scarring, and it gets knotted and hard and large and so on.
Okay.
Not a nice disease. So when I got diagnosed, the doctor said you have about 10 years. In 10 years, it's 50% chance that you're going to need to have a transplant.
Wow.
And by the way, you might get cancer in the bile duct too. So that was
Very scary. That was very scary, yeah.
Yeah. So you try to live with that, and I didn't really feel anything, and I started to lose weight, and my liver enzyme was going up. So then after about 4 years, I got jaundice, you get yellow in the eyes, and really started to lose weight. And then they said, this is end stage liver disease, what we call it, and then you're toast if you don't get the liver. So it was a colleague of mine actually that reached out in roundabout ways. He got to hear that I was sick, and he offered to provide his liver as a living donor.
Wow. Now, are liver transplants common these days? I know a few people who had kidneys, but liver's a big...
It's very common.
Is
and
that
the
right?
main reason in the US is obesity.
Okay.
In the United States, unfortunately, it's obesity, and also to some extent alcohol.
Yeah.
But just PSC is a very rare disease. So it's counted as a rare disease. So, but with a live liver donation, they take 60% of the donor's liver, and that's going to grow up out to regular size again.
Wow, amazing!
And so
amazing.
it's the piece that they put in me.
Yeah.
And so we did that. And also, when you have a living donor, you can schedule it. So I did it in January 2015, and they did it on a Monday. And the guy that was the donor, he's a marathon runner. So he ran the Houston Marathon the day before the transplant. And his liver had the lowest fat level they had seen in a transplanted liver.
Wow.
Because he was so fit, right? So, they did the transplant on a Monday, and I was out of there the following Friday.
Holy
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, eh? Yeah.
I could have been out on the Thursday, but they needed me to poop, and I couldn't poop until Friday.
Detail you could have left out. Good, so that's great.
I put a goal that I should run a 5K race with my donor a year after the transplant, and I did that.
Oh, cool!
So
very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool story,
so
and very scary story. I mean, but sure, it was scary at the time. But you look so healthy; it's unbelievable.
You have to take medicines and things like that, obviously, to keep rejection away and so on. But I've been really fortunate. I've had some little side effects and things like that, and more related to the surgery than the liver I received.
Yeah.
So, but that's when I was laid up for 3 months before I got back to work. So then I started to play on the PlayStation.
Yeah, okay.
And I started with War Thunder, and I was super into tanks and things like that. But then eventually I started to do Formula One racing and then the GT Sport. I got really into the GT Sport game on the PlayStation. And then So I did that then for several years, and into 2021. Actually, I look back, it was 2021 in January, I think, when I bought the PC and started to race on ACC.
And you bought the PC for racing, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're same as me.
Uh,
A lot of us have that same path. I did exactly the same, not PlayStation, but Xbox. Got into it and had a reasonable wheel, good old Thrustmaster wheel, and then it just the technology was so amazing. I said, now how do you what else can I do? And then you find ACC and you say, oh, it's well, I guess back then it wasn't on a console, so you had to get a PC, right? Yeah, thank God.
But also, I started with the Thrustmaster 150 or something. Just kind of had a clamp to a little table, and then after, you want something better, and that needs to sit in a better place, and
Yeah.
I got that seat, which was not that good. It's called like a stem, so it's like your seat is attached to like a thing that comes up where you put your wheel on, so it can wiggle a little bit side by side, just a little bit. That was irritating, and then it was like going up, and there's a plate where you put the pedals on. So now what I want to build when I get to Sweden is something like you have, Mike, where I kind of sit in, and it's like super sturdy.
It'll come up. It'll come up on the screen for you in a second there. But is that the rig you were using that you send me the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's coming up there in a second. So that's your setup that you're gonna improve that when you get back home. You're saying.
And it's served me really well. So yeah, what I want to get is something that actually have the front monitor then mounted in the frame. And actually, I had one additional monitor to the left. I had 4 monitors because that one to the left, that's the table I used for my flight sim.
Okay. So you're saying that stand is not very sturdy?
Yeah, it's all right, but it can wiggle a little bit to side to side.
Are the pedals attached to the stand too, though? They must be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where it says Fanatec there, that's kind of a plate that goes, and you see that stem that wheel base is sitting on. That goes down to kind of a steel frame that goes into under the seat, and then it goes front out there to the pedal board.
So is that a Fanatec DD something? What's the wheel?
Yeah, that's the pedals there are like the V2 or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm. And you like the
load cell things.
Yeah, so the pedals, load cell pedals, Fanatec pedals. Yeah, that's common setup. Yeah, no, but
yeah. I mean, it works great. I love that wheel too.
You like it? Yeah.
I want to have a direct drive wheelbase when I get to Sweden.
Oh, that one's not direct drive. What's the wheelbase? Is it Fanatec though?
That's a Fanatec CSL.
Oh, and that's a belt driven. Is belt?
I couldn't really hear you.
Is it belt? Is it belt then? Is it belt driven?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize. Is that old? They don't make belts anymore, do they?
I think they do.
They think they make that entry level one still? Okay. Oh well, we don't want you to get better stuff. You'll get be a better driver.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a direct drive.
Yeah, you're left. Okay, let me go to a second screen here. Hang on, because we have the interesting one is the bigger view, and so you've got your second setup is for your flight sim on a second desk, right? The next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll come up in a second. So it's same PC obviously. PC's in the middle. So what changes are you going to make when you get to Sweden? You're going to have a special room just for that? You haven't bought a house in Sweden yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the house, which is actually bigger than what we have today. So there's going to be plenty of room. So ideally, I have something where I can switch from one thing to the other. I'm not sure I can do that though, because you don't see that on that picture, but under the table, they actually have pedals for the flight sim as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I probably have to have 2 separate setups, and I just have the PC in between.
Now I saw that you just went to a conference about flight simulator stuff, and I can't believe you didn't buy anything. You're retired. You got all the money you need. That must have took some restraint.
A lot of restraint. No, it was really interesting actually, just to talk to the people that do the products that I use all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It-
I'll watch the screen there so you can see it. I've just put up your where all the magic happens for the broadcasting. That's the setup you use for
yeah,
broadcasting,
the
obviously. Yeah.
broadcaster piece.
There you go. There it is. So explain.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the ultimate setup there.
Yeah, these
So
people
up
that
there,
don't know how we do broadcasting. We have to have a number of windows up. I have 3 screens. You got 4 there because you're also running a pit wall on top. I see.
yeah, I had the OBS there on the vertical screen to the right, and also Discord, and then up there on the top, I'm using Pitwall, and then to the left I have like a browser, and there I have SimGrid up there, so I can see where people placed last time and so on. And then on the main screen I have I actually have I use a preview from OBS, so I can see exactly what you see on the screen with all the layouts.
Mm-hmm.
And then under there, I think this was before we actually used
ACC TV, huh?
we used ACC TV. So there's a chat window there and the control for the cameras. So, yeah, I love that stuff. It's so much fun to do.
Oh yeah, no, that's I'm with you. I've even you probably noticed I've started doing CMS once in a while for Thursday nights for them.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Great.
I'll do their. I won't do their practice race. I'll do their league race every week. That's kind of fun. Yeah, it's one, you're watching a race as usual, right? You know, and now that we're both pretty comfortable. I mean, I remember when the both of us were struggling a lot with the technology, and it was a little panicky getting ready. But now we just flick the switch and away we go, right?
Yeah. Yes, and then I have a stream deck also that I can do the different things on.
Yeah. So
it's
and we all know you also do streaming not streaming, stewarding for eSeniors. So that's
I should explain a little bit how that works actually. So so as part of the software, I'm using a software to capture, and I know Mike do that too, to capture the incidents, because it's so much easier to have this that I had to try and follow all the cars down the track, because we focus on the first lap, right? So so with that, I'm looking at the incidents. I kind of catalog the incidents, and then I do a review of all the incidents in kind of a video short, and I make the commentary, not necessarily making judgments, but you know, this is what happens in different views. If it's something complicated, I try to do it from very many different angles, and that is then presented to the other stewards.
That's what you call me, an under steward. You're the Grand Poobah steward, and we're the under stewards. Oh, okay.
I know everyone has stewards. Yes, I'm the guy that puts it together. Then we agree, right? We agree on how the penalties should be judged, and then I communicate and I register that. So
we let you take the flak for it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the messenger.
Yeah, so those of you guys who don't know, the administration of eSeniors is, of course, the big boss, Jeremy Arobas. There's Krister, myself, Thomas Rainier, Dimitri Stathis, and Jonathan Wood occasionally, or he pipes in, especially in stewarding. Jonathan's pretty good at, he's a race guy. We never really got back into, we never really talked about it. Have you always been into a racing fan? Have you always been a racing fan?
Yes, actually not always. It started a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago. Started to watch Formula One with a good friend of mine here. He's super into that. He's been doing it for years, and he worked at Ferrari back in New Zealand. So he's super into the technical portion of it. So we started to watch it together. And then my wife started to get really interested too. I think she really thinks Hamilton is really hot. So That was kind of her entry into it. So yeah, so we had this little watching party once in a while, and my wife is super into it, which makes it fun because then we can, watch it together. And been down to Formula One race in Texas several times.
Yeah, we're not like
That's what I want to do in Europe too. I want to go to race.
a few races. Yeah, we know the British guys have been into racing for their whole lives and they're into different levels. But F1 for a lot of us is kind of like the gateway drug, And you know what, F1 being pushed so hard in the U.S. there's going to be so many more people getting into racing. I think, it was the NASCAR crowd, but real
I
racing.
talked with my Uber driver when I was in Las Vegas on that flight sim convention, and she just hated F1 because they just messed up the whole city. And
Oh.
and Uber, when you order an Uber, it tells you when your car is going to be there, and it uses that by estimating through the existing streets and so on. But during F1 weekend, those streets doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
So it takes much longer, and then she got her fares canceled. People were angry, so
Oh, I know
yeah, she was
both
not a fan.
both Vegas and Miami, they just totally mess up those two places for quite a while. But they make so much. But then again, they're making so much money. They should be happy. Their taxes are probably a bit lower because of that.
Yeah, they're going to put it in Chicago now.
That's right, Chicago. When is that? That's not this year, is it?
No, that's probably 2 years down, I think.
But Chicago used to have a NASCAR street race. I don't think they do anymore, but they've had experience at street races. They had a NASCAR street race
yeah?
for a while. Yeah. I think so. Anyway, but anyway, we get back to stewarding. So stewarding, you are learning it as you go. You never did stewarding before.
Yeah, no, I've never done that before, but I kind of have an administrative mind, so I started, to just catalog these things, and there's a record of all the different incidents, and I kind of just started with that. But then it's so interesting also to see how people drive and the type of incidents we have. And there are a couple of incidents that we see a lot, and I think people can learn by looking back at their own driving sometimes. And
Yeah.
some people don't agree that say, well, we have these, when are you next to the other car? When do you own the corner and so on? And we have that very well defined. We use the same rules as CMS.
Yeah.
So it's very much the same. And some people just say that that's not how you do it, but that's how we do it.
No, I know, and it's fun to when you like, as you say, we look at it frame by frame almost sometimes for the very interesting ones and the ones that are important. But and we don't take it lightly, and we know people are but eSeniors has gotten so much better in the last year, 2 years. We've progressed so much in our racing skills and our racecraft. We've got probably what would you think? We've probably got 70% of the guys have been around for 3 or 4 years. I would bet, eh?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the members, if you look at people that follow us on Facebook and so on, it's 350 people.
Yeah, no, I know.
So,
I had something interesting actually on Thursday's broadcast. 2 of the wives of the guys were watching, and they came on the chat and they told me who they were and all this kind of stuff. They said, the first one of them was the first time she'd watched her husband race. So that was pretty funny. It was funny to listen. So I make sure I got some airtime for both of them, and they actually one guy they finished 3rd and 4th, I think, in the race. So that was pretty fun.
Nice. Yeah, I know Paulo Noval's wife had been watching.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Someone's mom was also watching. I don't remember who that was. But,
Oh yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. And again, the technology for the broadcasting is just insane also. And by the way, people, most of the software for the broadcasting is it's either very, very cheap in terms of a monthly rental or free, right? The OBS is free. I think we pay a little bit for ACC-TV, don't we?
Yeah. We have 2 licenses that eSeniors.
Yeah.
But I wish they had a better broadcasting softwares available. I don't really like I like the features of ACC TV, but I don't like how the graphics are in
Yeah.
the table there.
Yeah.
I tried really hard to change that because you can program your own, but I'm not a programmer. I used ChatGPT to guide me a little bit.
Yeah. And it didn't work.
But I wanted to look much more like the Formula One, more streamlined. But I love the flags and everything that we can put in there. You can also get the program to
Yeah.
just
I was
rotate
pretty. Yeah.
to different type.
I was pretty surprised that it didn't have, penalties and drive-throughs and all that fly up there.
And that's a limitation with ACC. ACC doesn't feed that. It doesn't
Oh,
feed
they
that to
don't.
anyone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And it
Which
gets.
I mean that's a shortcoming. It would be so nice if it comes up and say this driver have drive-throughs,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it just doesn't send that information out on the API.
Yeah, it's surprising. It does incidents, but it doesn't do the flags. Yeah, no, you're right. And that's important. And it gets mixed up in the pit stops sometimes. In my last broadcast, I had some trouble with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what else can we talk about? We talked about administration. We talked about your life. So, Sweden. Going back to Sweden, is that going to be? You've gone back a number of times, but how do you feel about going back to live? Excited?
I think the biggest thing's going to be the weather. We live here in Texas, and right now it's hot as hell outside. But in Sweden, I'm going to enjoy more of the seasons. You don't really have seasons in Texas. You have hot or you have damn hot. So those are the two seasons. So.
Well, being from Canada, I know seasons also, and in the sense that probably when I remember visiting, it reminded me a lot of my home town. I grew up in northern Ontario, mountainous kind of territory. We call it the Cambrian Shield rocks there, but very similar terrain.
Yeah, the climate where we're gonna live. We're gonna live south of Stockholm.
Okay.
Kind of more it's a very wooded area. It's called Småland, and that's where the IKEA founder, he came from that area.
Now,
IKEA, as most people know about.
So your winter starts probably around November. By November, we're into winter a little bit, yeah. Until about probably.
And then, it could snow in May, but now it's getting much warmer. It's very warm in Sweden. That's unseasonably warm right now. So.
Unfortunately, so you have winter. You're going to have winter, and now hockey. Sweden is a big hockey country.
Big hockey country.
Are you a hockey guy?
Yeah, so I looked up how many Swedish players we had in the NHL, and it's for being such a small country, it's a lot of players.
And goalies. You guys are famous for your goalies.
Yeah, we had those the Twins there in New York.
Yeah. So do you follow?
And the first professional guy that came over to be professional in the US was Börje Salming.
Oh yeah, is he one of the first? Of course, Börje was, and the best. Still probably the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's, he died a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But he's such an icon.
He's a tough guy too. He was a tough guy.
Oh, his face there, he got the cut with the skates, and his body was like so beat up.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Did you follow? So yeah, we had the chance at the Stanley Cup here in my hometown this year, as you know. So thank God they won. They got to a game 7. Otherwise, it would have been very disappointing. I mean, when they got down 3-0, if they had gotten swept, there would have been a sweep of all the players out of here, I think. But they redeemed themselves, and now they get to try again.
Yeah, Dallas Stars did really good for a while. We were hoping that maybe we should get into the.
Dallas, not a hockey town. Come on.
We had several hockey players from Sweden here in Dallas, and my sister lives in Gothenburg in southern Sweden, and she worked at a company that was selling, kitchen installations and things like that. So there was a guy in her office in Gothenburg that said that, wanted to get the kitchen in his house in Sweden. So she was small talking with him and said, what do you do? Where do you live? She said to him, And he said, I live in Dallas. I said, oh, my brother lives in Dallas. And what do you do there? I play hockey, he said. And my sister, she doesn't know anything about hockey. So she's like, but what do you do for a living? Well, that's my job. And he was one of the more famous Swedish hockey players here in Dallas.
And Dallas at least won one Stanley Cup. Two? More than one? They only won. They've won one. I
Yeah,
think.
one at least.
Those are the years I didn't watch because.
Modano was the big guy down back then.
Yeah. All right, very good. Well, one thing we didn't cover: you were at some GT3 races. You have a connection with a GT3 team, don't you?
Say that again.
Didn't your brother have a connection with a GT race team?
Yeah, it's a guy that lives down in Austin. His last name is Austin. His name is Mark Austin, and he has a GT3 car, a Mercedes. And actually, Nikos did a copy of that livery in ACC for me, so I'm gonna race it when I get back to it. But he has that as a hobby, so it's a very, very expensive hobby. But the guy had a deep pockets, so he's racing with this Lone Star Racing team, and he has a whole trailer, and he has a little crew of 3 people that helps him when it's race day, and he goes around on these different circuits.
So he's
can't remember what it's called now. But,
so when you see Pro-Am, he's one of the AMs. He's one of the amateurs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he goes to Indianapolis, races a lot at Coda and Sebring, different places. He actually goes around.
Yeah.
And races.
Well, we feel sorry for him that he has to race at Coda, but anyway. I practiced all weekend and I forgot that I'm leaving tomorrow to visit my grandson. My grandchildren from Montreal are going to be in Calgary, so I have to drive to Calgary and back tomorrow. So I can't race. I missed it all night. Here I practiced all week and I said, I'm not. My times aren't too bad. But then again, I practiced with. Of course, I did a few of the practice races. They're just as fun, so that's good.
Yeah, so I'm going to commentate tomorrow. That's
okay.
Fun.
Well, and like we talked about Thursday, you realized the CMS guys were racing GT2 cars this season.
Oh, nice.
And great races. I know I know there's a lot of guys who wish we would do GT2 again, but they had a pretty good. They're getting 25. They're getting 25 racers, and the GT2 racing is super close. Super close. It was amazing. But Jonathan and Moses were at it yesterday. You should go on to my channel there and watch that. It was an amazing race. It was a great race between Jonathan and Chris Moses.
Yeah, I need to check. Because the CMS never had any broadcast when I was with them. So
no, I don't think they've ever had a broadcaster. No, I don't think they've ever had it. Anyway, okay, well, we'll let you go. It's been long enough. I don't know how long we've been on, but it's been a great talk. I just wanted to make sure.
I hope the audio sounds better on the video than talking to you. We'll see.
Yeah, me too. But hey, they can understand us. And then it was most important is just to get to see your face. Everybody knows you, but not everybody sees you like I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, well, great talking to you, and we'll see you on track, and we'll see you on streams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right, see you guys. Bye bye.